And I would also say, I think this gets back to Krissy's point that being progressive, it's about getting out there and doing something. And sometimes I feel like in the progressive community in San Francisco, there are 1,973 of us, and that's it. And we are all tasked with doing the progressive things that need to be done in the city. And we just don't have enough bodies. And I mean, I know in the Green Party, there are just a few of us who are taking on a lot of the responsibility, and I love it, fortunately. But
I think that's our challenge, though, and that our challenge and how we need to hold ourselves accountable is not just are we working hard, but are we expanding who's involved and who's at the table. And it's not enough just for those of us who are already involved to continue to be involved because, one, we're only in touch with so many issues. We only live in so many neighborhoods. We only talk to so many people every day. But if our real goal is expanding who's at the table and who gets to be a part of creating progressive policy, and we hold ourselves accountable to that, then we can do more and more and more. And granted, we do have the limitations of the media and of the administration and all these things that we're fighting against. But I think we still have to challenge ourselves to be held accountable to make sure that our voices are diverse and are reflective. And I mean, we're all white women right here tonight, and so it's these kinds of things that we need to really question and ask ourselves every single day. And I think that actually San Francisco People's Organization is an exciting vehicle to be able to push that conversation and to expand who's involved, because there are a lot of community-based groups, from Chinatown, from the Bayview, from Soma, and it is, if not majority people of color, nearly majority people of color. And so I think it's a really exciting vehicle to be able to move forward the progressive policies in San Francisco and to make sure that we're doing a better job.
I think it's also interesting because it's the question and it's the issues that will define Gavin Newsom. I mean, clearly we have a relationship to the kind of deep divide between ourselves as North American white women and the terrible problems within the African American community. But here we have this enormous redevelopment plan, which only affects the Black community in a deeply negative way. So we have that whole thing. We have problems with police brutality all across the country. We have gang violence, deep, far-reaching problems with children killing children in distressed communities. And these are the problems that we have to dive into and really try to solve in real ways, which Gavin Newsom et al. Pay lip service to. Because if it's what I would say to his people when I chatted, don't talk to me about gang violence and tell me that you're going to ram this redevelopment plan too, because they are part of the same problem. If you cannot redevelop the Bayview in the interest of the wealthy and white people and solve gang violence, they are absolutely connected. And it's our right and our responsibility to dive into those problems and pull them apart. And if the Black community is calling us to stop redevelopment, we need to get on board and help figure out how to make that happen. And the fact that all those signatures were collected and then somebody, Herrera, declares this illegal is criminal. And then so where does our response to that? Do we just roll over because Herrera decided it was illegal? Or do we decide to do something? I mean, that's the questions that, how much are we willing to do to prevent the next level of genocide on the Black community, which is, we see it popping up in New York again with the police brutality. I mean, and it's not just New York, it's Cincinnati's in a crisis over Black on Black crime and police brutality issues. I mean, there's boycotts all over the country on this problem not being solved.
Right. Yeah, and I think we have a responsibility as well as an opportunity around redefining the left's position on public safety. And in San Francisco, the more moderate conservative forces have owned the public safety issue as they have across the country, and there's no reason for that. And I mean, we have to really think about how do we redefine public safety, because Mayor Newsom was playing basketball in the Bayview and having all these photo ops, but he never went through with the Blue Ribbon Commission that was supposed to investigate the racism and homophobia in the police department. He never supported Prop A. He was against Prop A. He didn't support foot patrols of the police officers. And so all this is public safety is probably the clearest example we have of Mayor Newsom's style over substance and inability to really affect these issues. And it's time for us to really own that and to build real allies and relationships with the folks who are most directly affected.
Yes.